Fuck it, go live. And I'm live. Alrighty then. I'm a bit impatient because I haven't drunk any beer yet today. So I started 1 minute early. Sorry, not sorry. And the snooze is in. It's officially Friday. Alrighty. Who's with me? Follow a friend. Greg, Noble Carp, Viking 1. Oh yes, Viking. Pop Trample Deer, Hitch something, Jan Persson, Benelli, MR1. That's a fun name. Lars Ekström, Sick, Scouser, Nuttertool, Normal, Jarl BSOD, Blue Screen of Death. Right, so the beer I'm drinking is this one, Festbier. It's Oktoberfest beer. It's October, right? You're gonna have to do this once a year. It's made by, how do you pronounce this? By Stefaner, something like that. It's the state brewery of Bavaria, and you can see the Bavarian flags and all that good stuff here. And apparently, according to them at least, they've been brewing one thing or another for 1,000 years. So let's see if they learned something during those years. And I'm using my Jägerbataillon 102 Bierstein, how do you pronounce that? And it has a little G3 on it as well, and bombs and shit. It's awesome. Yeah. Let's do this. It's amazing the system they have for beers in Germany. They have stores for the beer, obviously, where you can just buy a shitload of German beer, and they have this plastic containers for they all come in brown glasses. I don't know how many they contain. What can it be, like 12 beers, something like that? And you buy one of those, a big plastic case of those, and you just fill your car with cases like that. When you're done, you just fill them up with an empty glass and just put them in a machine at the entrance to the store, and then you get like a receipt. You go into the, when you buy more beer, you get some money back, basically. Skål! Cheers! Yeah, this is good. Apparently they make a lot of Weiss beer, this brewery, but this is the Oktoberfest beer. So it's usually like a light lager that's a little bit stronger. If a regular light lager is like 5 something percent, this is 6 something percent. Okay, what are you guys saying? Foxbolt, cheers! Looking forward to a weekend filled with gunpowder and beer. But not at the same time. Well, I can drink to that. 9 weeks and 3 days and still no license on an AR-15. I hate Stockholm. Yeah, I still haven't gotten around to order the Ruger AR-10 rifle. I'm gonna do it. Seems like a really good rifle, and the lightweight profile of it seems to be nice for hunting, which I'm mainly gonna be using that for hunting. For target shooting, I do have my 6.5 Heinel, which is extremely accurate. So I don't really need another AR-10 for sport shooting. So this will be just for hunting. So yeah. Obviously I'm going to load 308 for it with hunting rounds and make sure the accuracy is there for the hunting rounds. Considering getting like AMAXs, 168 Craners, something like that, it's going to have 1 in 10 twists, so 168 should be fine. Perhaps I could go a little bit higher, but yeah. Oak Romer says, fun fact, we Germans even have dedicated parking spaces in front of our beverage stores that are even closer to the store than disabled parking spaces. That's if you're a big consumer and you need to carry a lot of beer, right? I went to one of those Getränkmarkt in former Eastern Germany and had a really good time with the people working there. We bought pretty much one of each from all the German beers they had, and they just laughed at us, filled up the Volvo with the beers, and they were really friendly. Had a good time when we explained we were from Sweden. Apparently that's a thing in Germany. They like Swedish people. TAC 556 had one of these the other day. Well, good taste. Okay, so we had the beer, I have the snooze. Let's have a little look at the news. I almost rhymed. Let's see here. Boop. There we go. So the municipality of Lund in south of Sweden is the culture and whatever department of the municipality is gonna build more shooting ranges, which is good. That's fine. That's good. But totally unexpected. But I'm not gonna complain. Every municipality should do a decision like this. So yeah. So what they're doing is finding good spots for shooting in Lund municipality, identify spots, and have a dialogue with shooting clubs, etc., etc. So yeah, this is pretty awesome actually. Unfortunately, where I live, there is really no room for shooting ranges at all. It's pretty built up. Well, whatever. Bad news. Thailand. If you're from Thailand, well, you're fucked if you want to own a firearm. Thailand is banning all civilian firearms ownership, apparently. Only the state can own firearms in Thailand. That is pretty fucked up. And yeah, Thailand has had a little bit of an issue with military coups. So I can understand why the current government doesn't want people armed, because then they can do whatever they want to people and no one can fight back. So no surprises there. A motion in Parliament from Helena Wilhelmsson from the Centre Party, which is a super shitty party, but this is a good motion. So this summer we got new rules on magazines. So it's totally unregulated with magazines for firearms. And now it's up to 10 rounds for rifles and 22 for handguns. You don't need any license. But after that, you need to actually own a firearm the magazine fits in to actually buy that magazine. So if you're in the Home Guard and you don't personally own an AK-4, a G3 clone, then you can't buy a 20-round magazine for your issued G3 and store it at home. That would be a crime. And yeah, it doesn't really affect you if you own firearms, but if you're collecting magazines, or you do airsoft or something like that, where you want real steel magazines to build to your pellet rifle, it will affect you. It's a stupid law that really doesn't do anything. And they want to just scrap it mainly, and make it so that there's only rules when you insert a magazine into a firearm. Then it becomes a Class A firearm according to the Firearms Directive from EU. So yeah, it will probably not pass anyway, but I like that they actually wrote this motion. So yeah, that happened. So someone got his firearm stolen and it was used in a murder, and he wants his licenses back. I'm not sure why someone would lose their license because their firearms were stolen. Well, apparently his gun safe was open and that's why they were stolen. Okay, fuck that guy then. It's supposed to be locked. Anyway, the government in Sweden is suggesting harsher punishments for gun crime. So I don't have a problem with that because, well, it's two-sided. On one side, I don't have a problem with it because we have such lax punishments in Sweden anyway. The assholes running around with full auto AKs shooting each other more than once a day in Sweden. They need to be jailed or just put in the ground or sent back to the country they came from, basically. That's not happening, and this will do nothing anyway. What will happen though is that since we only have one gun law, so if I'm late with my paperwork, I'll have an illegal handgun, for example. So we have to renew our handgun license every 5 years. So if I'm 1 day late with the paperwork, or if I'm 1 day late and the police takes longer than 4 weeks to handle my license, then I'm committing a gun crime, and this law will apply to me. And that's pretty much the only person that will ever get a punishment from this law, because they catch people when they actually shoot some other guy. Well, sometimes they do it, I guess. Mostly they don't even catch those people, but they usually commit more serious crimes with an illegal firearm, right? So yeah, and you only get punished for the worst crime in Sweden, so it doesn't add up, it doesn't stack. So if you're committing a murder with an illegal handgun, the possession of an illegal handgun won't matter, because you did a murder, and that charge is obviously higher than just owning an illegal handgun. So it's ridiculous, as most things are in Sweden. And then we get to this. The Swedish police can use secret surveillance in Sweden nowadays after the 1st of this month. And what that means is they don't actually have to have a suspicion of a crime to surveil you. They can install spyware on your phone without you even knowing about it, without being suspected of a crime. They can still surveil you. There is nothing you can do about it, because they just gave themselves the right to surveil you whenever they feel like it. And that could be a good way to get at criminals, but they never do. Criminals actually run many municipalities in Sweden. In some cases, the criminals are the state, and I don't mean that politicians are corrupt. They're that obviously as well. I mean that actual gangs control municipalities. Usually it's clans from like Syria or whatever. Södertälje is a good example, for example. The Syrians control Södertälje. Yeah, so and I want to remind everyone of Carl Hedin, the hunter who was against all the cuddling with wolves in Sweden. So the environmentalists really love wolves for some reason, I don't know. And those kill all the other wildlife, and it's the balance in nature are totally out of whack. But the environmentalists want the wolves for some reason, whatever. And he was against that and made a lot of political noise. So, an environmentalist party person who was a district attorney, an attorney for cases like that, went on a vendetta against him, manufactured evidence, falsified witnesses, committed crimes, illegal wiretapping, a shitload of stuff like that. And the rest of the state collaborated with this person and made it so that he could never, even though they never got enough evidence to put something on him because he never committed a crime, they dragged it out so much that he couldn't get the persons responsible for this actually tried in court. Not all courts are as corrupted, so it would be technically possible. So yeah, what I'm trying to get at is this secret surveillance will be used against their political enemies. And even though we have a slightly right-leaning government right now, slightly, they're basically socialists with extra steps, everyone actually working in the government, they're still basically commies and traitors, all of them, most of them, many of them. And they will do what that attorney did and use whatever they can to fuck with you because they hate you. And it doesn't even have to be many people. It's probably not that many people. But they're in power because they're fucking awful. And no one is actually doing anything about this bizarre deep state bullshit going on in Sweden. And no one ever will. It's impossible to fix it. Sweden is basically a failed state at this point. Righty, so this will impact you because, yeah, it's going back to anarcho-tyranny thing. It's anarchism because they don't actually do anything that the state is supposed to do, like internal and external security, which is the basics of a state. You can't even have a state if you can't defend it. Otherwise, you have someone else's army inside your borders, which we pretty much do. Look at Palestine now. And think about how many of those guys we have in Sweden right now. Anyway, And it's tyranny because the lost taxpayers is gonna have to contend with laws like this to keep us in our place, so we keep paying our taxes, so the fucking psychopaths in charge can keep being in charge. Well, that was a rant. Cheers. What is chat saying? The gangsters need places to train safely, you know. Well, perhaps. There was a really fun news story, fun because it's so absurd, where the gangsters used a parking garage as a shooting range, and some politician said something like that. Well, they have to practice someplace. Alfred says, wasn't it it's the Center Party who voted against the removal of the 5-year licensing? So regarding the probably the Center Party is a bunch of assholes. But I think it's in May next year. An investigation that's currently ongoing will come up with suggestions on how to remove the 5-year licensing. So it's in May, so it's probably not going to happen in June, July, the 1st of July. It's a bit too early, but perhaps in 2025, January 1st, 2025, we might get rid of the 5-year licensing in Sweden. Perhaps. We'll see. Normal wants to know, so would we still be allowed to use 10 plus rounders if you have a gun license, or will we be cucked to 10 or less with a... No, you can own whatever magazine you want if they make that law change I mentioned earlier, even if you don't even own a firearm. Path Trampled by Deer says, we should form our own gang, the A gang, only Mini 14s allowed. Yeah, we wouldn't hit the inside of a barn standing inside of it. Yeah. Jarl says Malmvägen, Sollentuna, which is a municipality just north of where I live. They had their HQ in the basements and kept it as theirs with shooting ranges and meeting rooms, etc. The funny thing is Malmvägen is the road just behind a really big jail and the courts and a really large police station. So just like 100 meters away from the police station, what he mentioned actually happened. The criminals had their HQ in the basement of the building next to the actual courts and police station. They built those. I remember why they built those courts and all in the jail and the police station where they did, because the area had such high criminality. So they thought, well, if you build a police station and the courts just next to the high crime area, their crime will go away, because they obviously don't want to be next to the police station. The criminals didn't give a shit. They just got worse. There's still shootings at that place. Rusty says, probably need to give up my 10-22. What do you think about Bergara 22 long rifle? Bergara 22 long rifle is really good. I know several long range shooters who has a Bergara 22 long rifle because it has the Remington 700 pattern. So they can put on the same chassis system as they have on their 6mm or 6.5mm competition rifle. So they can have the same setup. Yeah, I've shot one of those. They are extremely accurate and just like it's impossible to miss basically if you just set the sights right. So I shot one of those at 200 meters at a small gong, and I hit all my shots. It's a super fun rifle. It's a super fun rifle. You all said a mutual friend of ours called the police once she saw some kids destroying windows of car shops, and the police had their station 200 meters away. It took them 45 minutes to get there. Oh, that's the police. That's the police. Me and the missus call the police the pizza police, because every time you see a police officer where we live, they're just parking in the middle of the road like assholes, and next to the pizzeria and getting pizza. That's like every time we see them. Rödöva Cooks wants to know, can you give me some tips about a good AR-15 type weapon for hunting? Preferably an AR10 as well. It doesn't make me poor. So since there's a lot of taxes and extra on top of it, so the people actually selling it to you will get paid. The best you'll probably find is just below 20,000 Swedish krona for AR10s. You might find something cheaper for AR15s. I don't know. It should be. It's less material at least. So Vildsvin.se has their Diamondback rifles, and I've seen some. I haven't shot one myself. They seem to do the job. It's just a regular direct impingement one. So for like 308 AR10 it's 24. For 223 it's 17. But you might get it cheaper someplace. If you import it from Germany or something, you might get the price down if you find someone who wants to sell it to you from Germany. It's a bunch of extra paperwork to do, get an export permit and whatnot for the seller in Germany, so they might not want to do it, but it's possible. It's in the EU. But yeah, let's see if scr.nu has some good prices for ARs. So the Ruger 223 is 18,500. The SFAR, the one I'm getting, is 1900, 500. Everyone sells it for the same price because they get it from the same distributor. It seems to be some kind of thing. So yeah. What's a cheap one? Grand Power, is that cheap? No, it isn't. It's all expensive. Schmeiser is good shit, but it's quite expensive as well. And a 223 is like 26,500. It's good shit though. Air Precision usually is quite cheap. No, it's still expensive. Seems like the Rugers are the best bang for the buck. Alfred wants to know, what do you feel about the Tipman M422 Elite? No, I wouldn't. If you're gonna buy a 22 long rifle, it has to be proven. So I'm not that into 22 long rifle AR-15s, but I know nothing about the Tipman. I do know that most of them are kind of shit. I do know that Smith & Wesson ones are supposedly really good. But what you want to do is check out what the people in Great Britain buys, because they are all into semi-auto 22 long rifle AR-15s. So check out some YouTube channels from Great Britain and what kind of 22 long rifle AR-15s they use. Those guys know everything about that shit. Björn says the motion. Oh, okay. Okay. So right now we have like a point system: handguns 2 points, rifles 1 point, full auto 4 point, and a regular gun safe can handle 20 points. So it's a storage system. It's not even meant for regular users. The point system is only for gun dealers and shooting clubs. So like me, I'm storing guns for my shooting club. So the point system actually applies to me. But a regular gun owner, a hunter or whatever, the point system does not apply to them according to current law. But good luck getting that through courts, because they're scared of people owning many guns or something. I don't know. But there's apparently a motion removing all that shit. But it's not actually a law. That's just the shit the police has made up. But it would be good if that is specified in the law that you can do this shit. Then the police can go sit and rotate on it. Jarl says Air is really good. Yeah, Air Precision is really good. I own one of them, and I've never had an issue with Air Precision. Air Precision is like a... I would call them a mid-range brand in the US, but they make really high-quality stuff. I've never had an issue with mine, and I've never heard of anyone who has an issue with an Air Precision, so I trust them. Lost Herring is waiting for a permit to buy a WBP jack. Where can I get 762 by 39 metal mags? Check with Action Reaction Sports. Google Action Reaction Sports. It's actionreactionsports.se. They should have that for you. Otherwise, it can be a little bit hard to get them. But I know they sold those earlier at least. Usually they buy batches of ammo and mags for their customers. Dröjröver Cooks, thank you for the tips. What do you feel about the PTR91? Is the PTR91 is the G3 clone, right? I'm just gonna Google that just to be sure. PTR91. Yeah, that's a G3 clone. So there's several G3 clones you can get in Sweden. The MKE, which is made on HK Tooling. The PTRs, I'm not really sure how good those are. I've fired one once, and I didn't see an issue with it. So yeah, that's probably fine, but I don't have extensive knowledge of it. I do know that the MKE ones have worked fine for me. So it depends on what you can find and etc. But it shouldn't be an issue to own a PTR91 for hunting. No, just so Firearm magazines you can get from Germany. It isn't an issue, or just reduce a 20 rounder to 5 rounds. It's probably accurate enough for hunting moose. Probably going to do the job. If you're getting a PTR91, see if you can get one with a welded Picatinny rail on top of the receiver, because it's such a shit show trying to find a claw mount rail for a MP5 or a G3 or whatever. It's so shit. You do want an optic for it. Get a welded rail that's low so you can use the peep sight or the opto sight or whatever, because that's really fun. But while hunting, at least put a red dot on it, or like a fixed 4x scope or something. Fixed 4x is traditional G3 scopes. But yeah, the PTR is probably going to work fine for you. Boosted says their precision is kind of overpriced in Sweden. Yeah, but everything is overpriced in Sweden. It's not just that. So if you buy a PTR1, it's all the extra cost getting it over the Atlantic, and then it's taxes, 25%. Then it's whatever the seller puts on top of all of that. So it's gonna be at least like 30% more expensive, at least, compared to the US, perhaps 50% even. And that's just the price of doing business when you buy shit in Sweden. That's why I like to import stuff from Germany, because it depends on what you're actually importing as well. But the stores in Sweden, they might have to buy it from a retailer in Germany, and then it's a bunch of extra costs on the way. So, like for SIG rifles or something. Or HK or anything made in Germany. Any thoughts about the Night Force NX 2x5x20? Let's have a look at that one. Night Force, what was it? NX8. 5, 20. Well, it looks nice, I guess. Let's see what the specs on this one is. I guess we can show that. What kind of reticules do we get with this one? Mil XT. So don't ever buy MOA. And the Horus Tremor, I feel it's too crowded. It's just lines and Christmas trees all over the place. Let's see what this is. Can I see the reticule someplace? No, I can't. So where do they show us the reticule? Here we go. So the Mil XT, Mil F. Oh, don't get this one. This one is Mil XT is probably better. Yeah, so this one will probably be fine. So what do we have here? Night Force has the glass is really good in Night Force, so you don't have to worry about that. So what is the finest dot? So what is what is D? D is 0.2 mil. Okay, so 0.2 mils is the finest you can mill with this. I really want 0.1 because I like to mill my ranges, be able to mill my ranges super accurately, which is where you know the size of the target, you mill the target in the reticule, and then you do a little calculation, and then you know the distance to the target. So it's a triangle. And yeah, 0.2 I wouldn't get it just because of that, but if you're only gonna do rough estimates, then you're fine. Like if you're aiming for a minute of torso or something. And this is a really good magnification range. So 2.5 is really good for close range. Perfect hunting scope, I would say. And 50mm will give you a great low light transmission as well. So dusk and dawn, that is perfect. And it looks compact as well, and it has an integrated throw lever, good knurling on the turrets as well. This is probably a really good scope, but just be mindful of the reticule. Get the one I suggested, the Mil XT. That's probably the best one. I like that it's open on top. Then you can spot with the open top of the reticule. So when you have a bunch of shit or a big line in the middle, it's not as good according to me. Oh, Mil XT in this one, it's open top. Covering it up with my pretty face. Well, whatever. It's probably a good scope. And it's gonna be expensive because you get it from the United States. So there's probably good options from the EU as well. And don't buy anything with Chinese optics. Buy with Chinese glass. Buy with Japanese glass. The shot glass from Germany is too expensive. No one can afford that shit. And I'm talking Schmidt and Bender and stuff. It is the best though. But if you're not really all into long range or whatever, then you don't really need the best. Japanese optics will do fine. Jarl says you want claw-mounted rails. And only good option is Brigger and Tomet, and that shit is expensive. Yeah, but we do have that company in... There's a Swedish company making claw mounts. I have a video on that, but I don't remember the name. Infitech makes claw mounts for the MP5 and the G3. And they're actually better than Brigger and Tomet. And Brigger Tomet will work fine, but the Infitech one is actually extremely good. Captain says Niedermeyer, Lux DefTech, and Schwaben Arms are European G3 clone manufacturers. Yeah. Niedermeyer will make good stuff. So there's a lot of shooting competitions with G3 clones in Germany. Yeah. So there's like a big aftermarket, and for nice stuff you can get some match triggers and whatnot. But if you have an HK clone, MP5, G3, whatever, then you can go to Action Reaction Sports, and Anton at Action Reaction Sports can make your trigger into a match trigger. He did it for my MP5, and it's actually really good. And he's done it for many people in my shooting club. So throw money at him instead of buying extremely expensive match triggers from Germany. Kawausu says the European ARs aren't battle tested, so I can't LARP correctly without importing overpriced burger guns. You're wrong. European ARs, if you're mentioning the HKs, are battle tested at least. There's a bunch of AKs in fancy special forces hands, US special forces hands. I think an HK actually killed Osama bin Laden, so it's battle tested. Oh, Jarl says HK says hello. Yeah, right. Jarl says, I still wonder if Lux DefTech makes G3s. They do. If you look at Lux DefTech's webpage, they still advertise G3s. They make their own PSG-1 clone as well. I wouldn't trust it. to be as accurate as an original PSG1, but that's like 1 MOA. It's not that impressive. Foul Weather Friend says most burger ARs aren't battle tested either. Yeah, well, that's true. Are we calling the Americans burgers now? Is this a thing? Is this a new meme I missed because I'm an old man? Yeah. Well, I wonder if Mr. Mr. Serbo can call himself battle tested now, because he actually got some of his guns to Ukraine used as anti-material sniper rifles. It's funny that that's actually a selling point. What you're actually using a rifle for and what is capable of doing, those have to mesh, and then I can use this rifle. It's not hard, people. If I'm gonna use a really good competition rifle or a hunting rifle, can it perform? So if it performs to your specification, then it's good for you. But I guess if you're LARPing, you have some extra things to think about. It has to be in a picture of some badass bearded dude in Afghanistan. Otherwise you can't buy it. And you can't LARP in front of the mirror in your mother's basement. Okay, Captain says, look, Step Tank and Schwaben Arms makes batches, Niedermeyer makes an order. Yeah, several months. Well, that's not that bad. When I bought my Heinel, it was just when COVID started up, I think. And I had to wait like 6 months at least for them to actually make my gun. I think my gun is like number 17 or something they actually made of their new rifles from the production line. They had prototypes, I guess. I think it's like serial number 17 or something like that. One of the first anyway. And it doesn't actually have any stupid shit going on with it. If you buy one of the first SIG rifles, it's never gonna work right. It's like you buy a game on launch day and it just bugs out and kicks you out. Kind of the same but with guns, when you buy a SIG rifle or a SIG gun or whatever. But with Heinel it actually works. I have had 0 issues with my Heinel rifle, except trying to find the correct ammunition for it. But that's all guns. And correct ammunition means I want groupings like this, which is just bullshit to have groupings like that with a semi-auto rifle. It just doesn't happen. It groups better than any PSG1 ever made. Greg says, never forget that mil-spec means lowest bid. That is true. That is true. To be fair though, the Vortex optics they're making for the US military, they kind of tickle my cyber fancy a bit. I kind of want one of those, but I'm never going to afford one, even if they come out on the market. Jarl says, when I bought my Heinel said, yes, we delivered it M-Lock. Yeah, right, got a key mod handguard. So did I. Tiny German penises on my handguard. They want us to fondle them. Fucking weirdos. Using key mod. Key mod is gay. There, I said it. Jarl says, to be fair, it took most combat rifles 30 years to even catch up to the PSG1. Well, yeah, when we're talking semi-autos and accuracy, yeah. They put in a lot of effort to make the PSG1 accurate. So yeah, you're correct. But there's other rifles that can do what PSG1 does that's even older than the PSG1. So there were match rifles of every kind, like AR-15 match rifles with bullet barrels and whatnot that could outperform the PSG1. But it is nice, the PSG1. I would love to own one, I'm not gonna lie. Kalle says, just me who is a bit surprised that thermals haven't really dropped more price-wise yet. So It's complicated to make them. They use some expensive shit to make them. And also the price has been, no, you can buy thermals that are cheap, but so what was expensive 10 years ago is like super cheap now, but the quality of it has gone up a bit. It's not going fast though. It's expensive still, but it's the market as well. They probably get a lot of profit per unit when they sell thermals as well. So you have to remember that. You can buy the parts and make your own thermal, but yeah, it's a lot of effort. He also says the PTR91 is not a combat rifle. No, it's a police rifle. It's meant to shoot terrorists. Actually, Palestinian terrorists. I'm not even joking. After the Munich thing, they developed it. The German state wanted an accurate sniper rifle for the police to shoot Palestinian terrorists, and PTR91 is the result of that horrific incident. Yeah, we'll see if any new fun rifles come out of the current bullshit going on in Israel and the Gaza Strip. Well, seems like at least half of that shitty place is turning into a parking lot tomorrow. So we'll see. I might have to say something about that bullshit next week. Father Weatherfriend says at least thermals are made using science, unlike night vision devices which are made using magic and luck. It's German space magic. One of the first night vision devices was mounted. It was a humongous thing mounted on a STG-44. Let's see if I can find a picture of that. STG-44 night vision. Zielgerät 1229. There we go. The Generation 1 night vision. There you have it. STG-44 and a big ass spotlight for it, and yeah, that's better than nothing at least. And then after that, the Americans put it on an M1, I believe, if I remember correctly. I guess some kind of paperclip bullshit. Greg says you can find thermals from Ukraine. Well, okay. Burris Thermal S35, any good? I don't know. You can buy cheap thermals from China. I have a bunch of videos with my cheap Chinese thermal. I forgot to bring it to the hunt this year, but that's probably good because I realized it's illegal to use thermals while hunting. I wouldn't mount it to a rifle, I'd just use it as a spotting scope, but I didn't bring it anyway. And I'm all out of beer. Here we go. Rick says, my AR-10 is a Palmetto and shoot great. I am poor. Well, if it works, right? You don't have to LARP and buy the most expensive bullshit because that's what they want. That's what those companies want. They just manage to get a contract selling a few whatever to some special forces guys, and then they just magically raise the prices, and they don't really shoot better. For the right price, you can probably find a tank from Ukraine. Wow. You don't even have to go to Ukraine. The Czech Republic does it for you. Let's see here. What's it called? God damn it. I'm a little bit drunk. This is not my first drink. I made the mistake of buying 6 liters of cider for my tap in the kitchen. And yeah, I drank a little bit of that. I just wanted to try it. But now I have to drink 6 liters myself. Let's see here. What's it called? What was I thinking about? Shit. Am I that drunk? Tanks. Check tanks buy. Vänta, Mortar Investments. Ha! Mortar Investments. I remembered. I haven't checked this page in forever. So, if you want to buy tanks, go to mortarinvestments.eu. And yeah, let's see what they have. Catalog. And so, tanks. What kind of tanks can I buy? T-72, price on demand. A T-34 would be cool and invade Poland with that. Let's see what T-72 costs. What do they want for that? Is there a price here someplace? Like new T-72, 300,000 euros, about the same in dollars, and add a decimal point for Swedish krona, or a little bit more. So yeah, you can buy your own T-72. That's fine. Do you have any fun armored vehicles? What would I want? BMP type vehicles. That's fun. Cross a river. Have a good time. In stock, 2 units. Okay. Fun times. So, BMP without a turret, BMP 1P. What's that? Seems like it has a turret at least. So, yeah. I'm guessing it's actually working. I kind of want one now. I shouldn't. Aircrafts and helicopters. Deactivate the weapons. Well, they have a bunch of shit. So, yeah. I spoke with a guy who bought a tank. This was a long time ago. But apparently getting it from like the Czech Republic or Poland or wherever he bought it from cost as much as the tank actually did, because he had to, yeah, it was super expensive to get the tank to where he lived. And yeah, but apparently it was worth it because he did love that tank. Can you link me to the tap on Signal? I can show you what my tap thing. So anyone who wonders what me talking about beer on tap for the previous year, let's see here. There we go, boop and pop. So it's not that complicated. It's Philips who makes a thing called Perfect Draft. So go to perfectdraft.com and you'll find it. And let's see here. And they have a bunch of beer. Come on, work. There we go. So this is 6 liters and they have a bunch of different stuff you can buy. And they take care of all the taxes and bullshit for Sweden as well, if you're living in Sweden. So you don't have to worry about filling out paperwork to the state when you're buying this shit. It's all legal and good. It's a little bit expensive, but they have this. You send these back when you're done with them, and then you get some money back. So in the end, and if you buy 3 at a time at least, then you get a bit of a discount. So in the end, it's as expensive as the state monopoly store, but you have a tap in your kitchen. It's really good. I like it. Brand Nothing is going alligator hunting this weekend. Ah, well, good luck, I guess. Or skitjakt, as we call it in Sweden. Fall Weather Friend wants to buy T90. Well, good luck with that. They don't have that many in Ukraine, and yeah, they're getting used and blown up. Right, so I'm all out of beer, so I'm going to end the stream now. I don't have anything else to add to you guys' wonderful weekend. Tomorrow I'm gonna go shoot some guns with some friends. An instructor for the Swedish hunting organizations. It's called Viltmål or Wildlife Targets or something. And I'm gonna bring my AK because I can. Fuck you if you complain about it. Have a nice weekend. See ya.